everybody. Welcome back to Crick Tracker special show in the air with me, Nivedna Prabhu. And of course, we're discussing everything to do with day two of the first test match between India and Sri Lanka. Of course, India looks like in a great position after they ended on day one with 357. But on the other hand, what can we expect in terms of Sri Lanka getting a breakthrough today? And what are the other kind of things that we can anticipate for day two? Well, to find out all of that, we will be, of course, having our guest on the show, Pratay Tiwari, joining me back in the studio. Let's find out from him. Pratay, a very good morning to you. You are, of course, geared up like just the rest of us for day two. We did discuss everything that could potentially be transpiring today. But in your opinion, apart from the breakthrough that Sri Lanka would require in terms of, getting that start, probably, what else are we expecting on day two today?
Well, Niveda, to firstly start off, I mean, it's definitely not the best of mornings. The heart still kind of processing the immense loss that the cricketing fraternity and all of us had. Shane wants, so first of all, thoughts with his family and his loved ones, of course, with him as well. Massive setback, back to back, to really threatening news and to really heart wrenching news in March and one. But I'm sure that the ultimate showman that he was and the bastion of Test cricket that he himself would have wanted a great day of Test cricket ahead of him. So I don't think there would be any better tribute to him than to have a great day of Test cricket in front of us. The format that he excelled in so well, the format that he stands as the second leading wicket taker off in the history of the game. I think a good Test cricket, a good day of Test cricket would be the best way to give him a tribute, and that is exactly what you would want India and Sri Lanka to do. At this moment, India, of course, in the boxing seat, guided by that magnificent knock of Rishabh Pant, 96, missed out by a century. I mean, just by a whisker, just 4 runs, but has ensured that India is absolutely in the driver's seat. So I think for Sri Lanka, it's very important now that they take a couple of wickets, early wickets, most importantly, because the game is already away from their grasp. 357 is a lot of runs, and as I said even yesterday, that if Sri Lanka allows India to score more than say 100 more runs from here, I don't think that they would be definitely in the game. And 100 more runs from here, and you are talking about definitely, definitely striking out a loss for India, because 450 runs in the first innings, if you've got on this track, then it's very very hard for the opponent to come back into the game. So I think India right in front right now, and 100 more runs should not be much of a problem unless for a collapse, because you have Ravindra Jadeja, you still have Ravichandran Ashwin batting, there is Jayant Yadav to come, and as I said, Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah, they have started to put a price on their wickets. They are no longer those sloggers who will just come and wildly swing the bat. So they you can expect some 20, 15 or 25 runs from them as well. So I don't think India would find it too difficult to add 100 more runs from here.
Okay, so of course, like Pratik did start off by talking about Shane Warne as well, and in terms of what we could expect for day one, that we just saw Rishabh Pant's graphics as well. But the fact that of course we'd have to speak about Shane Warne, what he really contributed, to the world of cricket as well. It is shocking news. He was really young. He was just 52. If you were to look here at his top five achievements, he's one of the only two bowlers to take 1,000 international wickets, most wickets by leg spinner in Tests with 708 to his credit, most Test wickets in a calendar year, that is 96 wickets in 2005, most Test wickets outside home 389, and most Player of the Series awards in Test 11 to his credit. Of course, Pate, you just spoke about how we have, of course, lost one of the cricketing world's probably top players. But looking at his top five achievements, there's a reason why, at the end of the day, he was, the big man, the big show, Shane Warne. But in terms of just looking at his test career, those are some phenomenal numbers, especially the last one, most player of the series awards in the test format.
Absolutely. I think if you talk about greatness, I mean there is no parameter on which you can actually rate greatness, how great someone is. But I think that if there was ever one parameter on which you can judge what how a great spinner is built, you can probably have Shane Warne himself as a parameter, because what he has done to Test cricket, I mean 708 wickets, that's a mind-boggling tally. Only two players, I mean, ever have even a tally of 4 wickets, a four-digit tally of wickets, 1,001 wickets for Shane Warne in cricket entire his international career all told, and only Muthaiya Muralidharan being ahead of him. It goes on to tell you, I mean, it's a format which is nearly 150, 160 years old, and the way he has dominated that format anywhere where he has gone. I mean, he has managed to script records and was a part of also the Australian winning team 1999 World Cup. So he was not a mug in the shorter format either. It was, of course, that test format that he excelled in the most, but he was not any mug in the shorter format either. And I think, I mean, he was an absolute legend. It's very hard to process that kind of a loss, because you, of course, did not anyone did not see that coming, and of course, gone too soon in terms of everything. I mean, just 52 years of age. Probably he should have spent a lot more time with amongst us, but that's how unpredictable life is. I mean, that moment when you got to hear it, the heart really did not want to believe that. But as I said, that you really cannot do anything about it. Just move on and just move forward. And as I said, that I mean, the great bastion of cricket that he was, and the bulwark that of Australian cricket he was. I'm sure that from the heavens where he has already joined Rod Marsh, I think he would definitely want cricket to exceed, Test cricket to exceed, because that was the format he best played. And I think he proved, I mean, in all walks of life, what a legend he was. And I mean, right from his debut days to leading to, an IPL team and getting to manage that success with Rajasthan Royals, winning the inaugural edition of the IPL. So yes, of course, whenever you will be talking about Vaughan, you will always remember him for the achievements that he created in the Test format, because I mean, there he was absolutely unstoppable. But even apart from that, in the time that he lived in the time that he played in, when limited overs cricket, or specific to, so to say, T20 cricket or franchise cricket, was still nurturing, was still building up, was still coming up, and was kind of finding its own feet as a format of cricket. Even there, he managed to excel. So I think there was nothing that Vaughan did and failed to exceed in, and that exactly is what his legacy will always be about.
And one very interesting thing that everybody has been speaking about since last evening, I mean, like you rightly said, life is so unpredictable, because last morning when that news of Rod Marsh did break, Shane Warne was also one amongst them, paying his respect to the cricketing legend. And by evening, you hear that, Warne himself is no more. But on the other hand, everybody was discussing about the fact that how he had a soft spot for two players, that is Ravindra Jadeja and Yusuf Pathan, and how he used to always encourage young talent, because back then, like you rightly said, it was the inaugural edition. There were many Indian cricketer names that people did not know about, but Bond would always bring them probably to the press conferences and talk about them. Pratik, could you tell us a little bit about that, if you remember any of those moments, and how he really had a soft spot for Indian cricketers as well?
No doubt. I mean, if you look at him, I mean, India is a cricket-loving nation. We know that, and we've seen with, I mean, players like, be it Shane Warne, be it AB de Villiers, be it Chris Gayle, and specifically with the advent of the IPL, when these players started to visit the country on a very regular basis, and then these global ties kind of really blooming and blossoming under the aegis of IPL. Ever since then, you would see that a lot of players have started to receive the amount of love probably they don't even receive in their own nations. I mean, I've so often heard that even if you see AB de Villiers, the way he considers, I mean, I don't think South Africa is his only home after the advent of the IPL. India is definitely one of his second home, and similar was the case for even Shane Warne, because he was absolutely
Right.
loved in India. I mean, and nowhere, not just in India. I mean, wherever he went, he was that kind of a legend, and he was that kind of a personality. He was a people magnet. I mean, wherever he would be. Of course, we have not had the privilege to spend personal time with him, but just by seeing him on television, just by feeling that aura that he had, you felt that he had some power in him to attract, and attract you towards him, because he was that kind of a personality. And I think that exactly shows. I mean, even the time he spent with the Indian cricketers, I'm 100% sure that they all would have learned a lot with him, all the youngsters and even the senior players who spent time with him at the Rajasthan Royals. Because he went on to also coach the team after 2011. Until then, he was playing the league, of course, but after that, he was also coaching the team. I think all of them would have learned a lot, and specifically, yes, Ravindra Jadeja and Yusuf Pathan. He always spoke highly of them. Two great Indian talents, and of course, he spent time with them at the IPL as well. So of course, he would have seen them closely. But someone who has played, I mean, he was of course a paramount. I mean, when it comes to longevity, because 145 Test matches, and Vaughan, he was never that guy, the Virat Kohli fitness level guy who you would expect, to really succeed on the basis of just his single-handed fitness. he was not the perfect probably fit for the sport, because if you see him, you probably would not even get a vibe of a sports person, because he was not the fittest of guys moving around. But still, it was his grit, it was his determination, his passion towards the game that kept him driving forward, and he served Australian cricket for 15 long years and has built a legacy that I don't think would ever be able to match by anyone. I mean, he was the embodiment of leg spin, and I mean, undoubtedly, undisputedly, the greatest of all time. That is what that GOAT tag is made for. It's for people like Vaughn that we make this tag, the GOAT tag for. So undoubtedly, I mean, may he rest in peace.
Rightly said. And if all of you have any special war moment that you would like to share with all of us in Crick Tracker, please do that in the comment section. Coming back to speaking about day two of India versus Sri Lanka, if you could take a look at Lasit's performance as well, and to kind of see what predictions all of you also have for the match, let me know in the comments. Of course, Lasit did get even Virat Kohli's wicket. People would have ideally wanted to see Virat play for a longer time, but this particular, player battle was one thing to look forward to. In 28 overs, he's got two wickets at an economy of 3.82. So it'll be interesting to see if, he will get that breakthrough for Sri Lanka again. On the other hand, if you could take a look at what's happening on Social Tracker and quickly get Pratyay's opinion as well, if there are any interesting stats or probably, of course, tweets. Michael Vaughan having tweeted last, evening about Rishabh Pant. Absolutely love watching Rishabh Pant, a player who you can't love, don't want to miss a ball he faces. No idea what's going on in his head, but it's always a must watch. I reckon he's the greatest modern day player entertainer. Wasim Jafar, kids score 90 plus and make the family proud. Legends go score 90 plus and make whole country proud. Chin up, Rishabh Pant. Look up, Rishabh Pant. We're all applauding you, is what Rajasthan Royals has tweeted. RCB's tweeted, love and congratulations poured from all over the world for our 1818 on his milestone legend test. Absolute legend. Okay, basically that is number 18 on his milestone
Yeah,
test, but
absolutely.
I'm not sure why that has said 1818. I'm sorry for that, you guys. Absolute legend. Of course, them playing, applauding Virat for that, and of course, Crick Tracker, giving their condolences to, of course, the legend Australian spin wizard Shane Warne passes away at the age of 52 after suffering a suspected heart attack. Before we wrap up, that's another thing, because I think Warne did tweet, the fact that he had started this new healthy mission that he was a part of, with that picture and in the whole shedding process. And like you said, life is so unpredictable. I think for all cricketing fans as well as the cricket fraternity, just to kind of digest that news would be a little difficult. But like our Crick Tracker post, says it, he is the wizard. And, like Pratyay has also said, ultimately, the ultimate probably tribute to someone like Shane Warne would to be, seeing a great day of Test cricket. So it's mixed emotions today. But before we wrap up, Pratyay, where do you think, if you had to make a predictions in terms of score and where everybody is going to be ending today or day two, what would that be?
So I think just the first day of the test match, there's a lot of time left. Weather is not expected to play any sort of spoil sort as far as this particular game is concerned. So I don't think that India is thinking about time or anything as yet, or even planning a declaration anytime soon. Because when you have won the toss, when you are chosen to bat, and you have got that kind of a start that India managed to get yesterday, 350 runs is a lot. I mean, it's not a small amount of run to be scoring on a single day of test match. So the scoring rate was phenomenal for India throughout the game, throughout the day. And special thanks again. We cannot forget mentioning Rishabh Pant, because that was one blinder of a knock, a very rare of a kind and very Pant kind of a knock that you would see in Test cricket. Would almost make you forget that you're watching the longer format or watching the red ball cricket. So I think after that, now India should be definitely eyeing. I mean, they're not too far away from that 500 mark, because half a thousand runs on the board, it's a massive kind of a pressure that you build on your opposition, because once you're inviting them to trailing with 500, there is absolutely no chance. I mean, once in probably a blue moon that would happen, that they would manage to even reach to that kind of a target. So I think 150 runs should not be too difficult. As I said, unless for a collapse that I'm not expecting right now, because there are not too many demons even in the pitch. Yesterday, whatever we saw, it was true for the most part. Most probably only a 2-3 balls that would have kept a little bit low, but that is going to increase in the coming time, not on day two. So there's no worry on that front. I think if India manages 150 more runs from here, or even 100 for that matter, not even for 500, but even 450 from that matter, I'm of the opinion that they would definitely be able to evade the loss part out of the game. So then you would be seeing only two results possible: either a Sri Lanka loss, or of course a draw. So I think now it's on Ravindra Jadeja, because he is the set man. Of course, there is Ravichandran Ashwin, and we know what he is capable of doing with the bat. Has got 4-5 centuries already in the format. I think 100 more runs from here, and India is then not losing the test at any cost.
Okay, so that is probably a good way to kind of be ending our pre-match analysis. But is that going to be happening? What is going to be happening on day two, and will it pan out like how Pratyay has predicted for us? We'll have to wait and watch. Don't forget to join us in the post-match analysis of day two of the first test between India and Sri Lanka. Until then, of course, thanks Pratyay for joining me, and all of you as well. We will see you on the other side only on Cricket Tracker.